Hi, and welcome to another episode of All Things Considered. Tonight, I want to speak to you about a subject that a friend of mine had mentioned to me the other day, and I hadn't thought of it before, but I decided to look it up. Before I do that, though, I had another person that I had talked to on YouTube that had sent me a message, and they told me that my videos are too long, that it's very difficult to keep track of them. It's hard for me to get everything across, get my point across in a very short video. So tonight, I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to make it under 10 minutes and see if I can keep it that long or keep it that short. Anyway, um, what I wanted to speak to you about was second wave gentrification and how it is affecting Seattle. Well, I had no idea what second wave gentrification was, so I decided to look it up. And in a nutshell, what it is that unlike gentrification or re-gentrification, as I like to call it, where you have an area that is taken over by somebody and they gentrify it, which means they change it, sort of like where you have a residence or an area of town that is not very populated and residential, but you have people that move in and kind of make it residential. They turn it into residential. Sorry about that. I had to pause. A neighbor was coming by with an item on a trolley cart or on a cart, and it was extremely loud. So, anyway, what I was saying was that a neighborhood that is not a residential neighborhood, people see that you can make it into residential, so they move in and they gentrify it and turn it from what it was, which is basically nothing, and they put in houses and make it residential. That's that's gentrifying. Then you see that you have other people that have more money and they see the neighborhood and they kind of like it, so they move in and take it over, and they turn it into a more middle class, more upper middle class. Before I get heavily into this, there is not just three classes of people anymore. There's not just the rich, there's not just the poor, and there's not just the lower class anymore. There's two classes to every class of people. As we have seen in Seattle, low income is now people making $13,000 a year or less on SSI, Social Security, and VA benefits and the like, and welfare. And then you've got people that are single making $60,000 a year. That is the upper crust of low income because Seattle being so expensive, that is now considered low income if you're making 60,000 a year because the cost of living is so high. Now, the middle class, if you're making 100, so as I was saying, the middle class doesn't really start till about 100 to 120,000 a year, but that's the lower middle class. Um, I guess they don't really call it the middle class anymore. It's more like business professional. So you got poor people that are on minimum wage, Social Security, SSI, VA benefits or veterans benefits, and welfare, and then you got middle minimum wage people that are low class, and then you got people that are in business that are making 60 grand a year, that are making, well, with the if the cost of living is so high, they're not making nothing really. So the rich, there's two parts to that too. You got people that are making, say, 1 million a year or whatever. They're like say 500 grand to 1 million a year. That's the lower of the rich. So it's two classes to every people. But this is I want to talk about the second wave of gentrification, which is with Seattle. Now you're on a wave where what gentrification had happened before, where they made parks and they made art museums and they made theaters for the arts and things like that. And they've had condos and they've had houses and things. Well, the second wave of the gentrification is that it's going to be nothing but rich. There's not going to be middle class and it's not going to be poor anymore. You guys are going to be X'd out of the city. And it's happened in San Francisco and it's happened in New York. Yeah, there's still some low income people there, and there's still, but the second wave of gentrification is going to be where the city of Seattle is going to try to be nothing but a rich town where everybody else can just barely get their rent paid and barely get their groceries bought and barely get their utilities paid, and they will have absolutely nothing else. They won't be able to do nothing. They'll be stuck at home all the time. Or they'll be walking around doing free stuff like window shop. So I see that coming, and I'm not the only one. There was an article that I got the idea from, a friend of mine turned me on to the idea, turned me on to the article. So, yeah, what do you think about that? The second wave of gentrification. Um, if you don't fully understand what it means, go onto Google or Bing or whatever your search engine is and just look at it. And yeah, let me know if you see that in Seattle. Or if you're from another city and you're listening to this or watching this video, let me know if you've seen it in your city, if you notice it happening. The second wave of gentrification is where everything's going to be so high in your town. The cost of living is going to be so high that everybody way down here is not going to be able to do nothing. Yeah, if you notice any of that, please put a comment below. It's right down in there where it says comments. Um, so yeah, let me know and see what you think about that. And tell me if you notice it happening, especially in Seattle. But in other cities that you're from, if you see it happening, please put it. And it don't have to be just the United States; it could be other countries too. But if you see it, put it in the comments below. I'd like to talk to you about it. Maybe see if there's anything we could do to fix it. Like I said, in 2021, if I do not see anything significant happen, and by the end of this year, I will be moving to Seattle and I will be taking up residence there. And in 2025, I am going to run for mayor and I will do what I can to bring down whatever is too high. Anyway, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It's just down there. I'm sure you'll find it. It's down there somewhere. It's hiding, but it don't hide forever. So anyway, I'm going to let you go on that note. This has been All Things Considered. Have a good night, Seattle, America, and all points beyond.